So, uh, did COVID had any negative impact on the life based on emotional anxiety or emotional issues?
Yeah, that actually kind of was the gasoline to the fire.
I'm asking this question because lots and lots of people
Yeah.
have changed their mindset during that COVID time. So I'm just trying to focus on like what was any change that you have felt it.
Yeah, that was the COVID actually brought it in, like it's intensified that feeling of loneliness,
Mm-hmm.
of detachment from the family and friends back home.
Mm-hmm.
I still have friends back home who are really connected. Uh, I'm still in touch with them, but I don't have many friends here. I do have few friends here who are deeply connected, uh, um, but I don't have any local friends that I can be like having that childhood growing up having friends. That not that kind of environment here, right? So that actually impacted a lot mentally, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
like feeling like I have nobody except for my family here, my wife and two kids. I mean, there is nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the feeling, like, because you need different friends or family member, or for different occasion or different topic or different situation to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Close friends to talk about everything. You have family member who talk about different things, uh, and you cannot discuss everything to one person. That is your closest person is your spouse. You
Yeah.
cannot. And that is where I started feeling like, oh my goodness, this is like started getting more clarity on that I'm missing life. Like uh, that gave me, because during the COVID became isolated from work and
Mm-hmm.
being alone, sitting in a room, working 8 to 10 hours. Then after that, there is nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And because everything was closed down, and I was not going out at all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my wife was helping with all the groceries, and because I have allergy,
Mm.
so, and I was afraid that if I get the COVID, because the first year was very serious,
Mm.
and I was scared to go out at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if we used to get vegetables, we used to wash it.
Mm.
Used to wash multiple times. And I was scared that I will get sick. If I get sick, if I something happens to me, what will happen to everybody else? So that was the scare. At that time, I think I had that fear of death. Like, it was not about me, but what will happen to my kids and my wife? Because I'm the only bread earner for the family.
Mm-hmm.
That is when I actually started fearing about death.
That's a very deep and intense question for most of the humanity. Fear of death. Let's talk about it. Fear of death. Why? First of all, yeah. If I ask this question, everybody will be like silly. You're asking this question, but I really want to focus on fear and a death. Why? First of all, why people have a fear of death? What do you think? What is your perception?
I'll tell that experience because I don't fear anymore about death.
Okay, I'm
But
gonna come. I'm gonna ask later why, but before that.
yeah, uh, yeah, at that time, fear of death was that I didn't live my life to the fullest. That was like, I don't want to live. I don't want to die. I wanted to enjoy life. And I have so much to do that I couldn't do all these years. It was in 2020, 2021, right?
Mhm.
So just 2 years back. And the feeling was, it's not just about me, but at the same time, I felt like I'm responsible for these lives, my wife, my two kids, and a dog, and everything else that I've been working towards to
Mhm.
support them.
Mhm.
Like, that was the biggest fear, that what would happen to them.
Mhm.
That was the fear, not the death, but the fear of what will happen to them. Those
Mm.
are dependent on me.
Mm.
That was the fear. Death, yeah, I realized that, yeah, I'll probably be gone.
Mm.
But the more anxiety and that thinking about 1,000 times about what would happen, all the pros, cons about to the family, not to me. I'll be gone. That's the end of everything that I
Mhm.
want to feel anything. But that fear of that responsibility that I'll dump on them and go, that was the fear. It was not the death, the fear of death, but the fear of about others who are dependent on me.
What will happen to them? It's about their existence and their life.
Yeah, yeah, that was the fear.
So when now that we are talking about most of the emotional side of a person, I want you to tell about your emotions with the life. Now that if we should not have a fear of death, then how one should live a life that at the end of the life or at the last breath, they do not fear a death, or they do not have a guilt that they did not do what they were supposed to do it, what it should be.
Yeah, that is when I realized, when I was going through those feelings. And that is when I got into spirituality, doing more meditation, spend time in nature. That is when I started realizing that they are going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Realizing that, yeah, if I die, yeah, they'll get tons of my insurance money to be able to live their life. Slowly, it was a mindset change that it's going to be okay for them.
Mm.
Uh, the way I started looking, because I realized that my parents were worried about me too at some point, that they were thinking, what is this kid is going to do? Because I was not good at study, I was not good at anything, but they were worried. Started realizing that then now started comparing. Yeah, I was not good at anything and not even my studies, but here I am making more earning than anybody else from my siblings. And I have everything that I never asked for, but I
Mhm.
have everything. And I started thinking that, yeah, I'm just fortunate.
Mhm.
Whatever I did, maybe my past karma, past life's karma, whatever it is, I don't know. Uh, so slowly I started detaching that I am not r- accountable for them. I'm responsible for them, but I'm not accountable for them. It's their life. They will live whatever way. The way had this life, and now I have this life, even though my parents were worried, but I have that blessings, that I have everything. That is when I started to change that mindset to uh, thinking that even if I'm not there, they'll be fine. They'll be okay. And that changed the whole thinking of uh, getting detached from that relationship, is that I'm responsible for my kids to be in this world, but I'm not accountable for their life because they are accountable for their own life. I'll be there as dad to support them, and for my wife to be there as a husband to support her, but I'm
Mhm.
not accountable for their future. It's their life, their journey. They have to figure out what they have to do. So I had to figure out what I have to do for myself.
You have just unfold a very deep, intense definition or a understanding or a awareness of human relationships and a karmic cycles. So it was so profound. It was so profound. If somebody understand what you have just said it, they will liberate right away from the attachments and turn to the attachments and being responsible for what they should be in this life. It was just so intense. I wanted to tell you that. So now you have just mentioned past karma, past life, or you have got something which you have never asked for. I want you to answer from that portion of your life that you must have got something which you have never asked for. Would you think what kind of nature's law are working behind that?
I don't know what kind of nature's law is working behind it, but I always have a good intention towards everything.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any kind of um, motive or bad intention. So
Mm-hmm.
everything I have done is through my heart, through my own um, kind of helping others, or in a even with when I'd go back to relate to this journey, because I came here in 2004 February, I was single,
Mm-hmm.
but I after I got my H1, my uh, work visa through my
Mm-hmm.
employer in October uh, that same year. Then after that, I got married in December 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I came with my wife in 2005 January here,
Mm-hmm.
and at that time, even my wife came from a not so privileged family and background, but she's highly educated. She is masters in finance, but she never had work experience, or she never been outside of the state too. I was at least in Pune, but she had never been to any other state. So, um, and all of a sudden after marriage, she came to US. That was shocking for her too.
Huge, huge change.
No chance. No. It was at least I was here since February, but at least almost 11 months, 10, 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
But for her, it was just everything changed in her life. But
Mm-hmm.
it was, I, I always had that responsibility, as I had to support her. I had to give everything to her to
Mm-hmm.
make her comfortable, make her have that support from myself. So I always had that because I had nobody else, or she had nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we were support for each other, but mostly financially, I was the one until 2020. Like I was supporting for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, during that time, we've been through a lot of hardships, and kind of even at during those times, we had our first kid, 2012. But until since 2005 to 2012, like it was me and her, and
Mm-hmm.
we had we spent a lot of time like having friends, or doing something towards community, or uh, because we are learning this culture, we had no idea,
Mm-hmm.
we, but learning from this new culture, and that was just to explore, to learn, and to know more about this new culture and to fit in.
Yeah.
So growing up in this country taught me a lot,
Mm-hmm.
taught me a lot to know about other cultures, other people. It was always to fit in, like always to be around other people's
Yeah.
and to learn from that. So I hardly used to have many Indian friends, but I have more non-Indian friends.
Okay.
So I always wanted to explore know others, because
Mm-hmm.
I know the Indian culture. I grew up in
Mm-hmm.
Indian family and Indian culture, so I had more interest towards non-Indian culture and to know them. So I had that. I used to work for companies. I used to do volunteer work and all. So I used to have
Mm-hmm.
um, more fun giving back to the community. When I was in California, I spent a lot of volunteer hours through work,
Oh,
building
great.
homes and all. And yeah, I learned from those. I always had that good intention towards everything. So I didn't do anything for any selfish reason or anything. Uh, I don't know what I did growing up, but there is some things, there is some, I think, the unknown power or the blessings that
Mhm.
I have, even though uh, I'm not like anybody else compared to even at work, like people are PhDs and getting have degrees from so many
Academic
universities,
success. Okay.
right? I mean, if I look at success as being a successful uh,
Mhm.
people, so I see that I'm not privileged enough like others, but I have that some kind of blessing uh, on me.
Uh, if we talk about emotional health of man,
Mhm.
as you have gone through a different part and different journey of your life, I heard from you that man or as a husband you had to provide or you had to support or you had a fear of being leading a family or responsible for them. I feel the struggle that men are going through in their life with the emotion so much, and I have seen a lot more part of being a man that they have issue, they have issues sharing their emotions or going through lots of issues, and because of those emotional blockages or wounds they struggle their physical health and finances and lot many things.
Yeah.
So would you want to say about a male's emotional state, how fragile they are yet how powerful they are? What would you say?
Of course, men are fragile, but they don't show that. And from my experience, I grew up in a family of women, uh, majority, my three sisters, my mom, then my sister-in-laws, right? Four brothers and three sisters. So think about
Wow.
how many women we have in our family and cousins and everybody. So it's so I always had that support in terms of women's um, dominated family and getting that support from all the women's.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I see that men are fragile emotionally, but they do not show up, and that they are not courageous enough to be vulnerable, not even with their spouses, because I was not. And when I talk to my clients too, I know that. Um, I think women are built in a different way compared to men,
Yeah.
and men are different. Men are built in a way how the society or the environment, uh, upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
let it, like when I was growing up, I see my dad was working. He was the breadwinner for the family. I
Mm-hmm.
saw my elder brothers seeing that, um, because my sister-in-laws, they're full-time housewives,
Mm-hmm.
and my sisters, my both sisters, they used to work, uh, but again I see that even their husbands are working as a breadwinner. So I see that that men's are always the have the higher responsibility as a family, which provides not just financially but everything else, um, security,
Mm-hmm.
financial, all the support. So they are tagged as the strongest person in the family.
Societal norms, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's not easy to show the weaknesses to others,
Uh-huh.
even within the friend circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you show your weakness, then there will be criticized or comments about that you are not man enough,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Be a
So
man.
be a man, be a man. That is the norm. So when you are being in a society where you have to show up being a man, there is no place to cry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even in front of your spouse, if you're not accepted emotionally.
Hmm.
So it is hard. There is no place for men to go to show their emotions or being vulnerable, right?
So this is this is a very sensitive topic when we talk about not that we're not saying that women are not going with emotional issues, but women have a way to release them so that it does not become emotional wound by talking and by crying and by expressing their ways. But man, since man, they have condition: be a man, do not cry, do not talk about it, do not express it. Isn't it it's time to express to the world, to the world of the man, that it's time to take care of the emotional health first, because it is damaging the physical health. If emotionally they are holding everything back and not releasing, it is becoming emotional wound, it is becoming stress and anxiety, and eventually it's showing up as a disease in the physical body. So,
Yeah.
what is your way? What is your opinion to tell the world that, hey, buddy, come, let's talk to me. Let's figure it out. Let's release your emotional wounds. Really forgive it. How you will tell a man that it's time to heal. It's time to let it go. How you're gonna say it?
I think that is one of the reason that it was struggle for me too when I was going through this, because I couldn't say all the things and emotions. I
Mm-hmm.
tried, I tried to express it to my spouse, but she was not, uh, I would say she was not ready to receive,
Mm-hmm.
ready to digest what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was hard for her. I realized that. So I was struggling to express my feeling, and I was not able to talk to anybody in my family member too.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have any close friend who in US that I could speak to
Mm-hmm.
about what I'm going through, my own emotions, feelings, and I was scared to talk to anybody
Mm-hmm.
because feeling that judgment, feeling that I will be judged,
Yeah.
feeling that I won't be accepted as man,
Mm.
uh, because I'm showing my weaknesses,
Yeah.
right? So it was hard for me. From that, I slowly started releasing those emotions after I joined JCT school.
Okay.
That is where I actually found that environment.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches, the supervisors, they helped me release those emotions.
Mm.
And I found how I can speak to anyone without being judged.
Mm.
And slowly I found that strength in me to
Mm-hmm.
be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reason I'm speaking all this here, that I'm not afraid of sharing my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
The way everybody wanted to judge, that's okay. But it's very important that every man who is going through any kind of emotional support and emotional stress and not able to release those emotions and feelings to anybody else should go speak to a coach
Mm-hmm.
who would be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
give that space, give
Mm-hmm.
that environment, give that trust that you are okay, you are accepted who you
Mm-hmm.
are. That
Yeah.
is the acceptance I got from the school,
Mm-hmm.
from my coaches,
Mm-hmm.
supervisors, where I was able to release those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me to be the getting that strength back, to be strong again.
Mm.
So being vulnerable, letting these emotions and the feelings out doesn't make us weak as men,
Yeah.
but it makes us more stronger, I would say.
Yes. That's very powerful, because that's what I believe, and that's my work of area, that man or woman, everybody, first of all, we have to understand, because I have been there in that emotional state for a longer, more like around 10 years. It took me so long to come out of those emotions, and I realized on my journey that the emotional wounds are very dangerous to keep them. It is creating karmas, the burden of karma that we are carrying not only from childhood but many many lives. And those the burden of karma, if we do not release it, it is going to show up from the mental body to physical body. And once the mental health and emotion and the physical health is damaged, the rest of the areas are damaged. Relationships are gone, financial status is gone, the social status will, everything will go, and life will be like doomed. So I think from like this conversation, the message should go to the world that it is time to release those emotional wound. It is time to heal. It is time to talk. It is time to do a coach or mentoring or whatever you feel like. But that emotional wound should not stay back to the subconscious mind or deep down to the heart. And it should go, because if we do not heal in this life, again in any life, we have to start that healing journey from the point where we have stopped. That's what I feel, and that is the only reason we have lots and different kind of pain in the life. Any pain, it is the blockage that we are keep holding in the mind. We are not releasing it. So what is your one thing, if you want to tell to the world today, what your message at this point now, because I am aware that you have found your path, that how you're going to contribute to the world. What is your message to the world from your side today?
My message would be to for everybody that not just men and women, because we deal emotions differently, but at the same time, it's time for us to come out of the closet that we are stuck inside and spread this awareness, because I know the suffering, I know the pain. Um, it took me almost more than a year, almost close to 2 years now. I'm in this path, and it's not easy for managing those emotions by yourself. By serving the community, my goal and our goal is to how can we shorten that journey? How can we shorten that journey? Nobody has to go through that pain and suffering that I have been through and you have been through.
Yeah.
How we can shorten that to help you get through this and overcome those emotional pain and suffering. That is the only thing I can say to everybody: to get help, talk to someone who you can resonate with.
No, so that's amazing. That's very great that what you have started with. I guess from this podcast, this the second podcast to I'm thinking that we should end this podcast today here, because the next podcast I want you to talk about the secret project that you're working on, that I want to keep it for future to a full, that we're going to talk about it, and there we're going to talk about more about the emotional issues, that how we can help and how we can take forward. And I want your input from your side, that because I know you have so bigger ideas and you are already implementing it, so how we're going to help and how we can take it to the next level at the contribution. So I think that this is the end for today for this show. And in the next one, I'm really hoping you to join and please explore your side of understanding, that how we can take it to the next level. So thank you so much for giving your lots and lots of valuable time and your understanding, because I understand the worth that you are putting into it. And I'm really touched. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Urvashi. I think it's a privilege for us to have this platform and have this wisdom to spread, and whatever way we can reach to the more people. And if these messages, these experiences of mine and yours can help in any way to one person, that would be our fulfillment for going in this journey, or acquiring all this knowledge and wisdom that we are able to share. Thank you. We'll speak to you soon in future.
Thank you. So thank you. And we're gonna wait for you to come back.
Okay. Thank you so much.